mode. Okay. Woo! We are part 2 of the body talks. I'm so stoked. So stoked. And as always, we have Allison on. Allison, let me see.
Hey guys, sorry my video is dead today, so you're just gonna have to see my beautiful picture, but I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. So Allison is on here to help with the chat and the questions and all that great stuff. Rebecca, we're going to start off with your question. So yeah, we got your question ahead of time. And normally how it works for my calls, I know Heather does it different, but just come to the session, and if you have a pressing question to start out with, I would love for you to just put it in the chat. I have a question. And then Allison is going to wonderfully field all of your questions and make sure you guys don't get lost in translation.
That's so nice.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Allison. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, for Allison. And anyone who wants to use reactions, on your Zoom bar down there, you have little reactions button that lets you do claps and it lets you do thumbs ups. So feel free to do those too. It's so fun. So
it's going to be like at a Zoom poetry.
Yeah. Oh, we need snaps. Yeah, we need those, right? Yeah. So I also forgot I wanted to get, sorry for my awkward pose here, guys. There. Thankfully I didn't have a low cut shirt on.
I know.
Anyway, I'm gonna, in case we need to write anything down.
Oh, okay.
Like if you think of something.
Oh, okay. Great.
Because sometimes I need notes to keep track of my thoughts.
Do we have that question somewhere? We can read it again.
We do have that question.
On my phone.
Yeah.
I don't mind looking it up on my phone.
Yeah, look it up on your phone.
All
right, let's pray while she looks that up on her phone. Father, I thank you. You're such a good Father. Holy Spirit, you are so good at guiding us. You are the teacher that we needed all along. I thank you, Holy Spirit, for just monitoring and guiding and facilitating tonight. I thank you that every heart here would feel known by you, seen by you, comforted by you, guided by you. God, there is no healing without you. Jesus, there is nothing without you. And I just thank you for tonight. I thank you for tonight. I thank you for each and every woman on this call. I just say she's powerful. You're powerful. Put your hand on your heart. Daughter, you are powerful. Daughter, you are worthy. Daughter, you have answers locked inside of you that you have longed to hear about. Daughter, you're enough. Daughter, you are needed. Daughter, you are wanted. Daughter, you are unique and special. Father, just come with your love and come with the keys that unlock our hearts. In Jesus' name. Oh, that feels good. I like that. Woohoo! I am so excited. I'm really holding it back. Can you feel it?
Yes. I feel like you're normally very excited though.
Did I ever tell you guys, me and Shirai used to live together?
We did.
Yeah, she was a roommate for about a year. Oh, no, we don't want a phone call. She was a roommate for about a year. Mm-hmm. And she's an introvert and I'm an extrovert. And she lived, I'm married, so she lived here with my husband,
right,
too. But it was fun. I think I did good for an extrovert.
Oh, she did really great.
I think I honored all your boundaries really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say the biggest trouble that extroverts have around introverts is extroverts can't just have one introvert friend. They have to have multiple friends. Otherwise, thank God she has other friends because I cannot meet all of her needs.
Right. No, I need lots of friends. So my husband will say, because he's an introvert as well.
Yeah.
He'll say, I think this, he totally sits in space, holds space for me. But then at the end of his capacity, he'll go, I think you need some friend time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's really
I
great.
get that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of jump right in with the question that Mel sent me earlier.
It's Becca. Becca, do you want to come on? Do you want to, your screen name on here is Rebecca, but do you want to be called Rebecca or do you want to be called Becca?
Sorry, it's Becca.
Becca.
Put Rebecca on the thing, and so I can't stop it.
That's the best, right?
No problem. No problem. You can always change it. If you guys want to change your screen names, you hover over your little video and the 3 dots. You click the 3 dots and it says rename.
Okay.
Just anyone who wants to do that, go for it.
So Becca, do you want to ask your question again, or do you just want me to read it?
So actually, what I was asking was about the last one. And we can do either, because as far as I'm concerned, I have a lot of questions.
Sure.
This is the first time I've ever asked anything. So
Okay.
because I watched the video last time, or I should say your part 1 video, I have done just a lot more with my heart as far as what I think would be more, at least makes more sense for me. I have struggled with my, loving my body, as I think we all have, but I am particularly unable to love this specific part of my body. And I swear I have tried everything. And when I say everything, I feel like everything. And I can't get there. And because I'm here healing all the other, trying to heal all these other parts of me, I just thought if maybe either of you could speak to what are maybe a practical way that you guys have found that have been helpful for you to heal that it's huge disconnect to my thought. I physically cannot get over. I mean, even when I lose weight, it's like my body will not allow my body to release this. It will not happen. Like, now again, this is me saying that, and clearly I've lost weight in my life and it has gone down, but clearly not really gone down. Anyway, I guess that's the most specific I can be.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. Do you want
to? First of all, I'm really glad you asked this question. I'm really glad Shiraz's here for it. I'm not going to have anything to say to this right now because I'd love Shiraz to share.
Okay, so about 2.5 years ago, I got really sick. So sick where within 6 months, I had a pattern where I would get sick, recover, get better, get sick, and it was in 3 weeks. So I'd get sick for a week, recover, be fine for a week, and then get sick again. I had the flu 3 times, I had multiple colds, all this. So I went to a nutritional therapist, and I worked with her for about 2 years. And one of the things that I learned is, sorry, I'm having an emotional response because of the work I've done with my own body. You can imagine for a moment that, think about all the pain and the frustration and the heartbreaks that you've experienced in your life, and your body has done the best it can to keep you going.
Absolutely.
And if you will sit in that moment and realize and understand that your body is like, have you seen the movie Taken? Has anyone seen it? Okay, so the premise of the movie is that a girl gets kidnapped and her dad's like some...
Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't bring myself.
Fair enough. But he is like brutal in his pursuit to regain his daughter. And I think that is the persistence of our body to keep us alive. And so instead of looking at your fat as something you don't like or you're upset about or annoyed by, if you can view your fat as something that your body is doing it's doing the best it can to keep you alive. Like it is your partner. And how long have you ignored it? And how long have you hated it and put it down, right? And so if you'll begin to relate to your body as more like a persona right? Rather than an empty thing or something that you don't, just like a vase or, right?
Yeah.
I found that helped me to view it in the perspective of, oh, it's done the best it can to save my life. And there are going to be times in my life that no matter what I do, I will not be able to lose weight because of the stress or the anxiety or whatever I'm facing in my life, right? And I get to build trust with my body, trusting that it's doing the best it can with what I'm giving it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we all could answer this question, we might be in different positions in our life, you know, like,
Yeah.
I think we all each struggle. It's been an interesting situation for me because I used to be a hardcore swimmer. I mean, I swam 2 to 3 times a day. Like I was really in shape. And of course there was never a problem. But as I matured, I started gaining weight like most women do. And unfortunately, I was molested as a child. I had been raped at least 3 times by the time I kind of was over this, like exercising a lot. And then when everything finally caught up to me like a riptide, whereas like, okay, now I'm realizing like this is the damage I am in. My body doesn't fall apart, which is so amazing. I've never been ill. I really have never been like ill. It's been extra weight put on, like sluggishness, brain fog, not really pain, honestly. I mean, I have been very, very, very lucky. But the thing that's so interesting for me personally is that one man that I would say, again, as like lustful as this is, like I just fell in love with him and he fell in love with me. And the only thing he ever had to tell me after the very first time we were intimate was what's going on with my thighs. Like, of anything, like how did he know? Like it's like a heart wound. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just this, it just carries on with me. So
your thighs, then why did you let him in between them?
all I can say is I do need to do more on my own as far as that, but
but like pause for a minute.
Yeah.
Why did you let him into an area of your life that he doesn't like?
Right.
If someone is not going to cover an area of your life with love, they don't need to be in it.
Oh, after that statement, we were over. I mean, believe me, but
Good.
The main thing is that like that's the only thing. I mean, this is when I was very young. Clearly he was not like, this wasn't love. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like these things continue to happen with that specific area. No other parts of my body, just that. And like I said, I just it's hard. It's just so hard for me to talk about it, first of all, because it's similar to you, like it's very emotional. And clearly I'm going out on a limb here and being totally vulnerable. I mean, I've been kind of freaking out thinking about that I'm going to even bring this to anyone's attention because it is so vulnerable place for me.
And let's pause for a minute. Pause for a minute. She's being vulnerable. Are you on the gallery view? Can you see everybody right now? Because I'm going to ask them to all do something right now.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Go to gallery view.
Yes, I am.
So I want everybody who also has a part of their body that they struggle with in the same way to raise your hand. Yeah, we got some with 2 hands. Yeah, so you're not alone, and you're in a good space, and this is all vulnerable for all of us. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because it's real. It's common.
I mean, again, I feel like as women, isn't that what we sometimes talk about? Like the parts of our body that we just can't get over. I don't know. It's just been really huge for me.
Here's a couple of really practical things that you can do. Number one, you actually have to start choosing to let go of the ideal you have about your own body.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, you actually have to stop talking about what you don't like about your body.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, you have to actively begin talking about what you do love about your body. Now, clearly you're not going to start with your thighs, right?
Right.
I didn't start with my belly. I didn't start there. I really love my boobs and my butt. It's one of the main reasons why I'm scared to lose weight, because then I'll lose my boobs and my butt. But I started with what I did like. I love my nose, right? And I eventually, like, I did a big thing last weekend. I haven't even told Mel yet. I was kayaking on a lake last weekend, and I had on my gym pants and a sports bra and a tank top, and I ended up taking off my tank top in a public space. But it was just another level of like, I have to choose to accept myself even when nobody else does, because it's nobody else's job other than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there has to be, and I think it's so because of how we're raised and the culture we're in, right? I think we have this idea about body love and acceptance that, oh, it comes. It actually doesn't. It is one of those things that you have to practice first, and then the emotions, then the confirmation, then the love and affection for your body will come. And the reason I was crying earlier is because I have such an affection for my body, and I remember struggling. I remember struggling with that. Like, it's a profound experience to come out on the other side and get to this place where I really do love my body. Now, I'm at that place where I'm starting to learn how to love my body in the presence of other people when they can also see it, right? Which is a whole different thing. But again, in that moment on the lake, I actually had to choose. Am I going to accept myself with my shirt off? Or am I going to sit here in shame and despair about how, like, I've not been able to lose weight and I don't even have the cute fat body, okay? Like all these plus size models, they got all those hourglass figures, right? I don't have that. And so it's like, I had to make that choice. And so I took off my shirt and we took pictures, and I got the pictures, and in every picture, I can't tell you how many times I've done this, you guys. I'll get these pictures back, and sometimes I don't like them. And in that moment, I have to say, you know what? It's okay, I don't like it. I choose to love myself anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is an active, it has to be a proactive, because our society is proactively telling us to hate our bodies.
Yeah.
And so if you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, it's just not working. No, it's like, right. It's not working because you have to be severely proactive.
And our bodies are always changing. It's like,
right.
We have to learn to love our body as it is. Your body, even in the best shape ever, will change.
Yeah.
You will get old. It will change. Even if you stay in great shape.
Yes.
Your body will change, and you have no control over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't. You really don't.
You don't.
You actually don't. As much as diet culture would like to tell you that you're actually in control of this machine of a body that they think you have, it's not real. Your body is an ecosystem. And if you guys will look into changing ecosystems, it actually requires a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best thing that we can introduce into our ecosystem that will best benefit our bodies is love and acceptance.
Right.
Your body is an ecosystem. I'm typing this out. That needs love and acceptance. Yeah, so good. It's not a machine.
Right. Because diet culture, the way it's like, nobody's ever said this, right? But diet culture is like, oh, it's a machine. If you put this in, this will happen. We're not vending machines. Like, we're not cars you put gas in and then it works.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if we can change our mindset from machine to ecosystem, it will be a lot easier for us to accept the processes our bodies encounter, because we understand how much it takes to absolutely shift an ecosystem. And I would say, when you guys start getting, I mean, I don't know what you guys are facing, but like, I started dealing with some hormonal issues. I went on the most strict part of a diet for a month, and I didn't lose 1 pound. Not because the diet didn't work, but because my hormones were out of balance. And so I could have eaten one thing for the whole month, and I would have never lost any weight.
Yeah.
right? Not because I'm doing something wrong, but because my ecosystem was not in a place where it would allow me to lose weight.
Mhm.
And so we face those things too as women, like our hormones and how those like fluctuate. God bless the hormones.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, we just covered a whole bunch of stuff.
A whole
Did
bunch.
any of that answer your question?
All of it. And
Okay.
honestly, I appreciate you just, I guess it's one of those things where because I'm in this process,
Yeah.
I feel the things that I want to not share are almost partly what I need to heal. And I feel like, like that's what I'm getting from what I'm seeing and hearing from other women. And it's scary to be in this position with, you know, opening yourself up. And, you know, now I'm sharing what I'm actually like the most afraid of. So you did great, ladies. Thank you so much. And I appreciate, you know, everybody raising their hand and, you know, being comfortable too, because that's just where I'm at. And I mean, I feel comfortable with doing that. Thank you all. And like I said, I just want to keep on this process. And I sure hope one day, like you, sure, like I will get there and I will get to that point of.
Yeah, you will.
You will.
I want to ask you one more question. There was a Becca who posted in the Facebook group today saying they had a question. Was that you? I want to make sure.
Where in the group? No, when I asked Melanie and you about how do I get a question answered in your group, that was me.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Melanie, it's Becca's, she's listed as Becca's iPhone. She has a question.
Okay. All right.
That was the one who messaged me.
Okay. That's the one who messaged you, but then this Becca also messaged on the Facebook group. So that's why it was confusing. Okay, great.
You
Thank you.
Becca's are awesome.
Okay, now Becca, iPhone. Now we're gonna shift a little bit, guys, and I'm sorry to do this, but I really want to get to this question. It's not gonna be related to the body. It's the one that got texted.
Well, it's still, I think it's still body related.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. I'm going off memory. So anyway, Becca, do you want to unmute yourself? And then,
This one?
yes.
I have such a great answer for this.
And then, let's have you read it.
Okay. I'm
She's
going to read it.
Okay.
Okay. The only reason I'm so excited is because I read it and I was like, oh, it's because of this and this. And I genuinely felt like the Holy Spirit gave me a different answer. And so I'm super pumped because he's so brilliant. But here's the question. Recently, I've been struggling with anger and sadness at the loss of my relationship. I've been trying to feel the feelings I need to feel, but they can end up consuming my thoughts and making me depressed or anxious. My question is, how much feeling all the feelings is too much? Am I creating my own depression and allowing myself to stay stuck in it? If so, how can I stop ruminating on these feelings and thoughts? Great question. So the number one thing that I want to talk about that is when the way that your body works is your body processes emotions by allowing it to flow through. Okay. So if you ever find yourself holding on to an emotion, something is wrong in your body. If you're holding on to it, something is wrong. So here, what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing in this question is you're trying to work through those feelings and somehow they get stuck in your body. And so then it's stuck, right? And I do know that you're saying it like stays in your mind, but here was the interesting thing that came up to me in this question is, my question is, are you trying to feel the feelings, or is there a belief system that you're going to miss out on something because you lost, right? You lost this relationship, you lost a dream, which is true. These are things we have to grieve. But my question is your body holding on to these emotions because you believe this is the last time it's going to happen, or you're not going to get something that good again? Like there's a belief system that's having your body hold on to the emotions and not process them properly, because if you do, something bad is going to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And Becca, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that a little bit. Like, give us some feedback on what she said, how you think it applies, because there might be more.
Yeah, that's actually, I think,
Yeah.
like right on. This was my first relationship. I'm 28 and I have never been attracted to anybody before him. And I felt like it was never going to happen. So with him, it was just, it all felt like it was there. So yeah, when it ended, I had a lot of fear that I was never going to, and I do still, like,
Sure.
I'm never going to be attracted to somebody who is also attracted to me. So yeah, there's definitely that fear. I think, there's probably more like fear. You said like fear of like losing things in general. I think this relationship has made me feel extremely afraid of losing close friendships in my life. I talked about it last time I was on this call with Melanie. Just he's best friends with my brother, and so this feeling like I'm gonna lose my friend group, you know, I'm gonna be left out, I'm gonna be pushed out. I feel like there's a lot that really like resonates with what you said. So
Yeah. Would you be willing to do a little bit of heart conversation with me? Yeah.
yes.
Put your hand on your heart. Instead of having to talk to your heart, I'm actually come talk to your heart with some truth that I've experienced.
And so this would be a great time for everyone to engage. Like, put your hand on your heart, because I'm going to.
Oh, little baby heart. I am so proud of your first time in a relationship. That is absolutely huge. That is a big deal. And I'm so excited and so proud that you were brave enough and courageous enough to put yourself out there. And now as you're walking back from that and maybe a little bit wounded and a little bit scared, I am so excited to be able to tell you that this is not the last time. You were designed and created for relationship with a man. You're going to get married and have a family and have like everything that your heart longs for, you are going to get.
Yes.
Sorry. Becca's heart, I know. Becca's heart, I just want to let you know that you are developing a place where it is safe for your attraction to grow. And so this is not the last time. This is like the beginning of your attraction story. You're going to get to figure out what you need to be able to grow and develop your attraction towards other people. It's not an accident. It's not a fluke. It's not something that you just made up, or maybe he's one in a million and you're never going to find anyone again. That is not true. Mm-mm. And as far as the circle of friends, let's say that that does happen. Let's say that they do kick you out or whatever, okay? It will be sad and it will be hard, and you will find other people who will love you and champion you and like thrust you into the greatness that your heart was made for. This moment is a catalyst for your greatness to be exposed, and it is hard and it is scary and it is painful, but I know that I know that I know that I know that it is within you to let your greatness come out. You can trust yourself. This isn't the end. This is the very beginning. I felt that.
I felt that too.
I'm so sorry. You're doing a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. That was, wow. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Allison, I know like I saw one question from Madeline earlier and then one from Erica. There might be more that had happened that I didn't catch, but who's next on the questions?
Before Madeline, we had Lindsay, and yeah, she can share with you her question.
Okay, great. Hey, Lindsay. Unmute yourself. Oh, she's so cute. Hello, hello.
How are you guys?
Good.
So, oh, sorry. This is my cat Taco. He's trying to.
Oh, so cute.
He's obnoxious, but he's real cute. So it's whatever.
Sherrod loves cats.
I do.
God, I have a cup that says "Crazy Cat Lady" on it. Like, I love my cat. I'm actually starting to date someone that I like, and he like writes prayers for me and brings me cookies, and it's really sweet. And like, I feel like my heart really wants it, but it kind of clicked for me last week when you were talking about, you know, our bodies and how we kind of have to talk to them like we talk to our hearts.
Yeah.
But anytime like I do start dating someone at all, like I literally feel like terror. Like my body reacts like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. He's gonna like lock me in a basement forever and chain me there, and that's what's gonna happen. My heart gets really excited. It's like, yay, this is good and happy. But my body just like, if we've been together for more than a couple hours, I'm like, gotta go. Like, sorry, you need to get out. I gotta go. Something's gotta happen. I just didn't know like how to work through that, because I really like this guy and I want to see where it goes, but my knee-jerk like body reaction is to push.
What are you so scared that he's going to see?
Such a good question.
Mama, she coming out with all this. And I was like, oh, earlier, I don't know if you saw me like dancing, I was hyping you up. I don't know. I think I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, so I think for me, it's like if I invite him into my life, I have to invite him into all my different faces. And so I don't know which face is actually mine. Like, I don't know which version of me I identify the most with. And so it's hard to like.
That's what you're scared of. You don't know you.
Yeah.
And so you're scared that he's going to find out.
Yeah.
And so the number one recommendation that I have is become very comfortable making mistakes, because that's the only way that you get to know yourself. Like, you try things and you don't like them, or you do something new with a friend and you don't like it, and so you have to tell them, which is always super awkward and fun. Like, a lot of it is doing a bunch of things that you may or may not like. And many times, I know for me, my heart is like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, well, that's dumb. How do I know if I'm gonna like it if I don't do it? Right? And so there's just this like constant adventure that on some level all of us have to go through our entire life. Like, I don't think this just ends like we figure out who we are and they're like, woohoo, that's it. Like, I think it changes. Right?
Right.
And so I think a really great thing is, so number one, I still like the first question, what are you so scared that he's gonna see? I think it's because you haven't seen it yet. And so you need to look at that spot and become really familiar with it and know it, right? Because here's what happens. This is why some of you guys fall in love. You ready for this? Pay attention. If you don't know yourself, an area of your heart and the needs that it has, somebody else is going to come in and meet those needs, and you're going to think that they're magic, because you don't know this part and they do. And this is how we become victims to our partners, because we don't know ourselves and they're meeting this need and we think the world of them because somehow they've discovered a part of our hearts that we never knew about. Now, sometimes this will happen, and when we don't catch it and we continue to stay in that role, that's when we lose our authority over ourselves. Right? Once we acknowledge what's happening, oh, you're touching a place inside of me that's not been touched before. I need to get to know that, right? In that moment, you get to decide, are you going to take back power and authority over your own life, or are you going to let somebody else run that part of your life? And so I think that's what you're facing right now, is he's touching on places in your heart that you haven't gotten to know yet. And that's terrifying. Right? It's really scary, but it's also really scary inviting someone in so that you can be known. And the best way that you can do that is to know yourself first, so that when you invite them in, you understand what you are willing to say no to and what you're willing to say yes to. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Great.
Yeah.
Like here's my closet full of shit. I don't know what's in here, but you can look. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Right. But let's say that you have a closet full of shit, but you know, this pile hasn't been washed in 3 weeks, and this one's about to go to the counselor, and this one I'm working out at the gym, right? Then you can tell them, like, hey, I'm actually aware of what's in my closet, and I know it's a shit show, but I know it's a shit show. The scary people are the ones who don't know they're actually a shit show.
Yeah. And those aren't the people in this group.
I am well aware that it is a hot mess express. Toot toot. This is your captain reporting for duty. But
The fact that you ladies are here
Yes.
shows that you are aware of the stuff. And that makes you guys magical.
Yeah.
Maggie said, Shira, I think you're magical.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Lindsay, did that answer your question?
yes, thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Love you, girl. So we have lots of questions, I know, but we still haven't even gotten to hear Shira and her journey. Like, I'd love for you to share, like, and I didn't prep her, but she can do this.
Good. Okay.
I could have prepped
I
her
was just
better.
excited about questions all night.
And we
Okay.
could do questions all night
Okay.
if you like, I don't want to share. Because there are body questions on here, which are
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
But I want to stick with the theme a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And Amanda was on last week. She shared her journey of
Mhm.
loving her body, what that looked like, her journey of thinking her body was for men,
Mm,
and
yeah.
and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you have a different story, and I wanted you to share it.
Yeah, so we'll do a short share, so that way
Okay.
we can get to as many questions as possible.
Okay.
So when I was 12, I ended up reading a book about some pastor and his wife. I don't even remember their names. And he talked about, like, his wife had some problems with her legs. And in the book, he talked about how they would, like, every night they would, like, put their hands on her legs and be like, legs, we thank you. You're so wonderful. You do such a good job. And I just thought that was so different and quirky. And I was just weird enough at 12 that I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I kind of did that at 12, I'm 37. So, like, I've done that for a really long time. What is interesting to me that's actually just come to light is that people think body image is the same thing as our relationship with our body, and it is not. I need to be very clear. You can have body image and have zero relationship with your body. And I think that's where this just came to me, like, within the last couple of days. I just had a client that they were like, oh, my body image is great. And I'm like, but you clearly have, like, you're completely disconnected from your body. So I was trying to figure out, like, where was the disconnect, right? And so I feel like I kind of went through the same thing. Like, I would show and express appreciation for my body, but I also had self-hatred. I was super insecure. Like, I've always been overweight. It's mainly a form of protection for myself. Let's see. And so then when I was 25, I had emergency back surgery. And they told me before I went into surgery that I could possibly never walk again. And so that was a bit of a crisis moment to face at 25, never walking or dancing or snow skiing or any of that again in your life. And something happens when you face the gravity of the failure of your own body. And I think that's when it really clenched for me that I didn't pay enough attention. Like, I needed to have more of a relationship. And so that's when I really started working on with my body. And then when I was 30, I met someone who did a lot of, like, body love and connection and affirmation and acceptance. And so I added that into it. And then like I said, 2 years ago, I met with a nutritional therapist. And so I feel like my relationship with my body has changed and grown and deepened. And so now what that looks like, so even tonight, here's an example. Like right now it's 6 o'clock our time. I haven't eaten anything since about 3:30. And the reason that I did that is because I get so excited that if I were to eat something, my body would really struggle to digest it because of where my nervous system is at. Mm-hmm. So I'm sensitive enough to know, like, oh, can I actually digest my food really well right now? And if I can't, why am I going to add that burden to my body? So I think if we start looking at our bodies, not just as a body image or an object or a machine, right? Because it's actually not. It carries the essence of who we are, right? And no matter what shape or form that comes in, it's actually stunning. And if we will give ourselves permission, we will be able to see that. But, but as long as we don't give ourselves permission to see the stunning beauty that our bodies carry, we will continue to be upset with it. And so when I worked with my nutritional therapist and learned all the things that my body was protecting me from, like my body has saved my life so many times and I didn't even know. Mm-hmm. And I hated it and I ignored it and I put it down. And I'm just so grateful that it's done such a great job. Like, it's kind of the best way. Like, if you guys haven't learned how to do this, is like, body, mm-hmm. You have like, it's like Melanie came in and saved my life. Yeah. And so your heart begins to understand the debt of gratitude that you owe your body because of how you've treated it, because of the lies that society has told you, whether that's diet culture, or you need to be skinny, or plus size models have flat tummies, which is a lie,
and families,
or parents, families, right? Like there's just a myriad of lies. And I don't think we understand how subtle they can be, because even in this body inclusion or body positive movement, I have noticed pretty much right now, they're working to change it, but the plus size models across the board, I don't know if you've noticed, because I only follow on my Instagram, I only follow girls my size or bigger than me. They all have flat bellies. And I'm like, I don't have a flat belly. Like, am I not juicy, or am I not thick, or am I not the correct plus size, right? Am I not the politically beautiful plus size? And that is bullshit. Like, I am a stunning person and my body has done miraculous things so that I can still walk and be here, right? And the moment that I take an honest evaluation of what that reality is for me, then I'm able to allow gratitude and love and acceptance flow through me, because I'm not allowing what I think my body should do hinder my affection, right? It's not about what I think. It's about what my body has actually done.
Mm-hmm. Does having a good relationship with our body lead to helping our body image also?
It will definitely, it kind of like flows back, right? If you have a good relationship, you have a better body image. Not only that, but then it will spill onto others. So like, I know I have some other friends that they're a little bit insecure about their body and they're smaller than I am. And because I change in front of them, they have begun to accept their body. I'm like, oh, your body's just so cute. And I'm like, I mean, like, pearls. Look at that roll.
That's cute.
I'm still getting used to it being cute, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't look at it and be like, oh my gosh, so cute. I'm working on that. I'm getting there, right? But for another friend who's smaller than me to go be like, oh my gosh, you have such a cute body. I'm like, oh, yeah, I have a really cute body and it's sexy. And it's like, yeah, I take care of my body and really kind to my body, right? Like, if I will do that, other people will get on board. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, I remember dating this guy and he was like, babe, you have really big thighs. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He was like, no, I like really big thighs. And I was like, I don't know what to do with that right now, right? But it was because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be insecure. I'm not going to hide my thighs from my boyfriend, right? These are my thighs. This is it. For the rest of time, this is it. And so we're going to do it together. So I stopped drawing a line in the sand and putting my body on the other side. And I was like, oh, we're going to be on the same team.
I got chills off that. Stop drawing a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And putting my body on the other side.
Yeah, we're on the same team. And as long as we're on the same team, I actually couldn't give a fuck about what I looked like because I know that I'm connected and we're on the same team.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this. When I was in San Diego, I was on the beach and there was a woman with my body type in a bikini. And when I saw her, I thought, she looked good.
Right?
And I was like, because I just started wearing bikini again last year.
Yeah, I know.
Last year was my first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling them, like, find somebody with your body type who is bold and courageous.
Yes.
And mirror, do what they do.
Yeah.
If you like, what do you admire about it? What do you, because I was like, she's rocking it. She's doing so good.
Really,
look at her.
like I said on Instagram, I don't follow a model or whatever, right? All the models or influencers that I follow are my size or bigger because I want to normalize what my body looks like to me. I don't care about everyone else. Like, I need to normalize it to me. I'm acceptable because there are people out here doing this, wearing bikinis and having fun and enjoying their life. And I'm like, wow, you guys, we have allowed this to keep us from love, to keep us from joy and greatness and adventure, to keep us from knowing ourselves. That is stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb. And it's like, I feel like I have been stolen from. And I refuse to allow that mindset to steal from me anymore. I still get a freaking hot husband. I'm not married, not dating right now. I still get one, right? I went to the gym the other day. I used to work at the gym and all the muscular guys were like, Cheryl, like, come give me a hug. And I was like, oh my God, I need to learn how to accept that they think I'm beautiful. They accept me. They love me. They pour affection on me. Why can't I receive that?
Yeah.
That's the problem. So I'm still in this. Like, I'm not perfect. I would say I don't hate my body. I don't actively hate my body anymore. But like taking off my tank top at the lake the other day with my like belly sitting in a kayak, right? So all your rolls are in perfect position to be seen. That was a new thing for me, but I was so excited because I thought I could let how I feel about my body steal from the experience. You guys, I took off my shirt and the wind was blowing on my skin and I felt so peaceful and I loved myself. And the experience was just so, I felt the Lord and I felt nature around me and I felt acceptance from my friends. And I thought I could have murdered this moment by being scared of my role. It's not worth it.
So
I'm not
good.
willing to pay that price anymore.
So good. So good. Yes. Okay. By the way, somebody said, get this lady a mic. Get this woman a mic. Wow. Thank you so many interests. And then Lindsay was like, glad this is recorded. Yeah. So I just want to give you the love. Okay. I want to do questions. Allison, who's next with body questions?
Okay. Let's see. Bria had a really good one about her body.
Bria.
Yes. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Do you like it when I make it big?
I have no preference, but it's fun.
Hi, Bria.
Oh, wait, I think she's on mute.
Is she muted? Yes, she is
you're
muted.
I'm so sorry. I kept talking. I was like, why are they even talking?
I was like, oh, I think she's talking.
I was talking. That is so funny. I was saying that this is like my first time on one of your calls, and actually Lindsay's like, hey, babe, come. And I was like, hey, I'm home. I can come.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, welcome to the call.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
Awesome.
This is
My room,
perfect.
awesome.
You guys-
All right, what was your question?
Okay. So, a pretty heavy subject. I was raped a few weeks ago. It was my first experience with penetration. And ever since then, I just feel like I have hate for my body. Well, thank God I started my period because I was worried about being pregnant. But like, even like taking care of that and putting in my menstrual cup, like flashbacks and like just kind of a hate, I guess. So I'm like, I don't know how to get over this. I mean, I was really shocked that even like a menstrual cup was an issue for me. But I, started on this journey of kind of some sexual exploration, like everything except penetration, just honestly to feel good about myself. And then now I'm like, okay, wait. And then like this happened and I'm just like super confused and I don't know how to view myself. And yeah, it was a terrible night. And yeah.
Sure. Well, number one, I want to say there's nothing wrong with you. This has nothing to do with you. Like, put your hand here. Okay, connect to your body. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with your body, Bria. Nothing. It has everything to do with that asshole. I'm so sorry that your boundaries were violated in such a violent way. That is wrong, and it is not okay. I give you permission to go on a process, no matter how long that takes. But I also give you permission to connect back with your body and be one with your body. You don't have to be separate to stay safe.
What does that look like to be to get back to, I mean, because I was learning how to connect with my heart. Like I was learning to kind of have my own back, all this stuff. And then this comes and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Totally.
So let me ask you, can I jump in?
Go for it.
What are you feeling sensationally in your body right now? Like, do you feel connected and grounded in your body right now? Or are you like floating up here somewhere or over here somewhere? Like, where are you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm floating. Like it's been an out of body experience ever since.
Okay. So can we do some work with that?
Yeah.
Try to get you back in your body a little bit.
Yeah.
And everybody pay attention because you can do this for yourself, okay? This isn't just for Bree. This is, you're learning tools. Like everything we're doing on these calls, you're learning tools. And so, yeah, this isn't just for Bria. So anyone else too, if you're feeling disconnected from your body right now, follow what we're going to do, okay? So Bria, I want you to pay attention right now. Where in your body do you actually feel connected or grounded? Is there any space in your body?
Well, I got a pedicure earlier, so my feet feel pretty great. No, but yeah, like, I mean, I feel like that was a great, yeah.
Okay. So I want you to pull your attention to your feet.
Okay.
And really pay attention to what that connection feels like. I want you to feel how your feet are feeling, touching whatever they're touching. Are you sitting or are you laying?
I'm sitting.
Okay. So how do your bottoms of your feet feel? How do your toes feel? Pay attention to that. And then I want you to draw a line to connect your, like an intuitional line, like spiritual line to the floaty part of you. Like pay attention to that while you also pay attention to how your feet feel, okay?
Okay.
Once you have that connection between the two, I want you to let me know.
Can you repeat what I'm supposed to be? Okay, so the line,
Yeah. I want you to pay attention to how you feel floaty,
Yeah.
where you're at, if it's over off to the left, if it's right above, if it's down low, like wherever it's at.
Right.
You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Simultaneously, I want you to be aware of how your feet feel grounded and connected.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have both those awarenesses going?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want you to take deep breaths. And with every breath, I want you to pull yourself back into your body. And I want you to tell yourself, I'm invited and I'm welcome. This is a safe place. So breathe in deep. Breathe out. This is a safe place. Pay attention to how grounded feels. And when you feel like you're back in your body and your whole body is connected the same way your feet felt, let me know.
That is so wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I do feel like I'm like inside. That's so weird. Like almost like inside again. Yeah.
It's really, really weird. Like,
So here's
Wow.
what I want to recommend with this. I want you to learn how to sit there, and I want you to make that association with home.
mm-hmm.
This is what home feels like. And the more that you make that association with being in your body and feeling home,
Mm-hmm.
right? When things like that happen again, you won't disconnect. You'll stay connected. And and I'm not sure what will happen.
Yeah. And disassociation is normal, guys.
Yeah. It's like it's a benefit. I think the Lord did it on purpose.
Yeah. And so when you feel that lack of connection in your body, you can just take that time and get reconnected, get back. I used to tell my daughter, stay in your body, something would happen. And she's like 16 years old, my daughter who was on last week. And I'd be like, stay in your body, stay in your body. Because I'd start to see her go away. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Stay here. It's still safe.
Right.
So as you feel that start to go, like catch it and go, nope, we're safe.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm safe here.
Because Bria, the truth is you are safe in your own body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry that you were violated, but the truth is you are safe in your own body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so weird how I made that leap that like, oh, now I don't feel safe here.
Of course.
Yeah.
That makes sense. This is what happens. The boundary that was violated with us, but how do we get out of us? We disconnect.
Yeah.
The only way to get outside of us when our boundaries are violated. The weird thing is, the more that we can stay connected, the easier it is for us to fight for our boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in no way saying it was your fault. I want to be very clear. Rape is never the victim's fault, period. But we don't know what would have happened to your body if you'd stayed connected. Okay? I don't know what that looks like. But I do know that remaining connected, I don't know, it does weird things. Good things. Like good weird things. Like what you just experienced, right?
Right.
And it allows us to take ownership again of us. Like it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, it's a gift. It's your gift.
Yeah.
Like our bodies are a gift.
Yeah.
And I think, God was trying to show us how much of a gift they were when he said that they're his temple. Like he was trying to show us like, this is how valuable your body is. Yeah. It is my temple. It's where I choose to reside. And so sometimes I'm like, if the Lord can reside here, then I can reside here.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I can do that. because I had a big problem with dissociation. Oh man. How are you feeling right now, Bria?
I didn't realize how scared I felt.
Mm.
And that the reason why I wasn't aligned, I guess, was because I felt scared.
Yeah. Isn't that
because
weird? Floaty?
Yeah. So I feel like the fear isn't all the way gone, but I'm aware of it. And like, I know, like, okay. I mean, I was talking to Jenny yesterday about like having my own back and like, okay, like I'm sticking up for myself. Like, you know what I mean? So all these things are just helping me cope and learn how to deal with this. So I don't know how I feel. I mean, I'm like sad and crazy all the time, but yeah, I definitely feel better.
That's really normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really normal.
Yeah.
Really normal. Well, I'm really glad you're in this program.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're going after these things.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine you going through that and not having this community.
I know.
Oh, and I'm so glad you came on this call.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And real quick, like, so my 6 months is almost up and I'm on like week 8. So, you know, there's 9 weeks. And I think it's a little hard to know how to continue to move forward with the program. Like, how much time do I need? You know, just like what, you know, I felt like I was kind of on a good trajectory. And now, you know, it just, everything feels off. And so I don't know if you have any quick advice for that.
You're not going to miss it. You're not going to struggle because you don't have this like continually at your access. Yeah. You've done a good job learning the tools. You've done a good job loving yourself. You've done a good job connecting. And I don't want you to be afraid. Yeah. I don't want you to be afraid. Now, I do know that they're working on things for women who are done with the program, like some continuing services. So that is coming down the line. But until then, I just don't want you to feel like abandoned.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because what I don't want is you to abandon yourself because you don't have all this program around you, right? Yeah. And things are going to happen, like all of your life. Things are going to happen, and they're going to set you back, and that's going to be normal. You know, last year I went through a terrible health scare, and I had no idea the issues of minimizing and not loving myself. Like, I was like, oh, I actually don't love myself as good as I thought. And it took a health scare to figure that out. That was a gift to me. I didn't look at it like, oh God, I'm not as far along as I thought I was. Oh no. I actually looked at it as, now I get to see where I need to grow some more. And so it took a health scare for me to do that. I ended up in the hospital and almost dying. And that's what it took, unfortunately. Thank God I survived it, but that's what it took. And so I didn't beat myself up and I wasn't hard on myself. I just loved myself. And I was like, this is what you need to do to overcome this. Love yourself.
God will not withhold his goodness because you miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
Ever.
Never. He has so many plans. He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
God has many plans. You could screw up the million plans he has for you, and he's going to have a million more.
Yep.
You can't outdo God, and we're not powerful enough to mess it up.
Yep.
Like, when we think we can always miss it with God, it's like, oh, you think you're really powerful, don't you? And it's like, oh, I'm actually not that powerful. No.
Yeah.
Can't mess it up.
I love that. Thank you guys so much.
You're
Like,
welcome.
this is exactly what I needed tonight. You have no idea.
Thank you
Oh,
for being brave enough to share.
yes.
That was very brave.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Lots of love. Okay, next question's gonna be, I have it right here. Hold on. Allison shared it with me. Where did it go? Erica's question was, how can she love her body when she never really cared for it? She's given it away to men and used it for men's approval and validation. Erica.
Oh God.
There you are.
It's such a
Hi.
great question.
Such a great question.
To be honest, right when I asked the question, I like put my video off because I didn't want people to like see me.
Oh.
And I almost left the call and Allison's like, "You're next." I'm like, "Oh shit." Like I'm really
Yeah.
How many is so glad she showed up? Like, I'm so glad you showed up. This is so good.
Yeah. I feel like this is actually
Breakthrough.
a very common thing.
So common.
Super common.
I've done it.
Who hasn't done it, I
I've
think
done
is the
it.
better question. Like, I've done it. God knows. I mean, girls, I got big boobs, right? Men likes those.
Men like those. Some women do too.
That is also true.
Sorry.
So I think my question for you is, what is it that you think you had to pay for?
What do you mean?
Well, if you used your body to get men's attention, why did you think you had to pay for that?
Well, I have a very similar like story to Bria, as in my first time with penetration.
Okay.
And I feel like after that, like I kind of use like men as like the healing thing. But
So is it control?
I think so, but also like I'm not gonna lie, like I have a boyfriend, but I catch myself still wanting attention from other men that aren't my boyfriend. And I know that sounds awful and it's embarrassing to like even admit that, but like I don't understand why. I'm afraid that like when I get married one day or you know whatever, I'm going to be constantly like searching for the approval of like men to like find my body attractive.
My number one question is, do you find your body attractive?
I've always been underweight. Like I was born underweight. I've been underweight my entire life. I got made fun of it a lot as a kid. And like I'm not a real woman because I don't have like curves and you know like just all this stuff that like I had a hard time relating to other girls because everyone was worried about being overweight and I was worried about being underweight.
Yeah.
So
I have friends like that. I get that.
yeah, I grew up not loving my body. And then once I started getting approval by men because of my body, I started to like be like, oh, like maybe they love my body, so I love my body now. And
yeah, I get that.
so, yeah.
Okay, so remember I was talking about earlier, the parts of our heart that we didn't know, that somebody else comes in and knows, so that we just let them run with it. This is a very same thing. So you have a hole in your heart where your body actually needs affection and approval and love and acceptance. But because you can't give it to yourself, your body will find it from anyone else. As soon as you begin giving it to yourself, it will be easier to say no, trying to find it from other people.
Because there's a need. It's about a need.
Right.
You have a need for your body to feel beautiful, accepted, loved. And so that need unconsciously gets met.
Yeah.
If you won't meet that need, unconsciously that need will get met.
Yeah.
And like I always felt like, I don't know why, but I'm like, I feel like it's bad to like love your body.
Why?
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I don't know why. Like, or like, maybe it's because people growing up always assumed that like I had an eating disorder or, you know, anything like that. And I was always afraid like if I loved my body, then people would like think that that was true or something. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if I loved my body but everyone else was concerned about it, then like I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like that didn't make any sense, but
Yeah, no, it does make sense. It makes sense because in this really weird way, when we can't give ourselves what we need, we turn to other people, right? So because you couldn't accept yourself, you went to other people for acceptance, and all of them were saying, oh, we need to hate our bodies. Something should be wrong with you because you're too small, right?
Yeah.
And so you took that as a like, oh, well then like, yeah, okay.
I just thought I shouldn't love my body.
When you
Like,
begin to love, right. So when you begin to love your body, you actually don't need them to be okay with your body because you're okay with your body. And it stops being about what everyone else thinks and what everyone else has to say. And then what happens is when you express love towards your own body, you will only let other people, like as far as boundaries go, the only people that you will let close enough will also love your body. So for me, it just happens naturally that most people who are friends with me can't be around me for very long if they hate their body. They can't. Because when you hate your body, you hide, but I don't hide. And that's kind of a standard I have for friends, to not hide. And so love doesn't hide.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the easier, the more better you get at loving yourself, the better you get at not hiding. And then it's not about anyone else. It's about, hey, are you gonna love me? Because I'm gonna love me. And if you're not gonna love me, then I'm not sure that we can be friends. So like even with myself, when thoughts come in my head, like, oh, I don't, like, you're so fat today. I'm like, no. That's not allowed in my thought life. It is not allowed, period. It's off limits. I don't have that kind of relationship with my body, and I refuse to let anybody else have that relationship with my body. If you don't like my body, then you can go find somebody else. It sounds harsh, but the world is, when the world is as pervasive as it is about being perfect, showing up in this perfect way, which no one can actually tell you what that is, right? Then I'm going to be just as pervasive with my standard. And I will hold the line. Sorry, that was doing a great
word. No, a lot of big words. I was like trying to focus there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Erica, what do you think your need is right now?
I don't know. Maybe I do know. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't know. I think I just like need to accept myself and like trust. I don't know. I think it comes down to just like trusting God in a lot of areas of my life currently, including the need to like impress other men. Like maybe that's a deeper rooted issue and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So just dealing with that, I guess.
Could you do one thing this week that impresses you?
Yes. I currently just got tested for COVID, so I am homebound for the next however long, but
yeah,
I haven't been on one of these calls in a long time, and so I did that for me today.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's awesome.
That's really impressive.
It is.
And I asked the question. So.
Yes.
Yeah, double impressive.
These are the things that matter. It's not the huge ways that we show up for ourselves.
No.
It's the small ways.
Yeah.
It's the small, consistent promises that we keep for ourselves, and we show up for ourselves every day.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Celebrate those small things. Make a big deal out of them because they matter.
Yeah.
they matter. Yeah.
You guys should have
Oh, you
a
broke up.
podcast.
Say
I
that.
said you guys should have a podcast.
They're
all saying that in the chat, by the way.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which,
That's funny. I'm not even looking at the chat.
oh, so cool. Okay. So what, like a year and a half ago, I told Shara, we have the best conversations.
Yeah.
Let's go for a drive and video our
Yeah,
conversation. And it was so good.
Yeah, we did a couple.
It was so good, but I never released it.
Yeah. Well, we never
edited it.
Life happened.
Yeah.
The fire.
But
all that stuff.
yeah, the fire did happen.
Fire
But
did happen.
yeah, we've talked about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have great conversations with my friends. I need
Yeah.
to just have a podcast
Mm-hmm.
where I'm just talking to my friends.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Princess Speak Queens.
That's what we'll call it. Speak Queens Podcast.
From one queen to another.
Mhm.
Erica.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Anxious, to be honest, a little bit.
Anxious?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What?
Like, I always get worried that I'm like taking up too much time.
Mhm.
Like, I've asked a question before and I'm like, oh God, like, I'm done. This is over. We're good. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe it.
Oh,
This makes me want to leave you on for
I
like
know.
10 more minutes.
It does.
And just make it
So,
all
like,
about you.
Can you take a moment, put your hand on your heart?
Oh God.
I know, it's the worst. My friends hate me when I do this, but they secretly love me. Take a deep breath. Erica, you are free to receive this as love and affection, that our time is worth being spent on you,
Mm-hmm.
that you're not any less of a person than anyone else for whatever reason. You asked a really good question,
Yes.
and it was worth answering and spending a lot of time on.
Yes.
You're worth being heard. You're worth it. You have good things to say. You have good questions. Take another deep breath. We're not in a hurry.
Not in a hurry.
God's not in a hurry. Nobody's in a hurry.
Mm-mm.
Like there's no rush.
Nope.
Like we cannot miss good things. Nobody else is going to miss their time or their question
Mm-hmm.
because it can't happen. It's a weird thing, but you get used to it with the Lord. This is perfect.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you guys a really random question?
Yeah.
Yep.
I had no idea that this was like about body stuff tonight, but I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but I saw someone actually ask the question in the box earlier about how to know if you're in the right relationship. And could you guys just spend like 2 minutes on like anything you think about that?
Totally. Are you talking about a relationship that you are currently in?
Yes.
Okay. Do me a favor. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. Erica's heart, are you in the right relationship? What did your heart say? Okay. We can't tell you that. Only
Yeah.
you can tell you that. And the good news is, I can tell you that you can trust yourself. You can. You'll make mistakes along the way and you'll have to clean up messes. You'll get really good at cleaning up messes. I'm getting really good at cleaning up messes. But you can trust yourself. All of you can.
Mhm.
All of you. You can trust yourself.
Yeah.
You are going to be your biggest advocate and your biggest ally for the rest of your life. If there's any sort of wisdom that I could ever impart to women, it would be trust yourself. It changes everything. I have like chills on my whole body. You guys, it changes everything when you trust yourself.
Yeah.
How do you like put that over hurting someone that you really, really care about though?
Are you willing to violate yourself to avoid hurting them?
That's the thing. I don't feel like I love myself enough to care about that. Like I feel like I love somebody else more than I love myself.
Then you have to start here. You have to start with your head, and you have to start choosing you first.
Mhm. Logically.
Logically, you have to start there.
Mhm.
You can't wait for the feelings. You can't wait to love or to have the affection. You have to start here.
Yeah.
The standard is I come first, because only after I come first can I actually fully show up.
Yes.
So if all of you guys are living this life where you're like, oh, I'm going to put my life on the line, right? It's actually not working. You're not fully showing up to a relationship.
Nope.
You can't ever do that.
Mhm.
You have to come first.
Okay. Thank you. I think I'm good. I'm like overwhelmed. So
I know.
You're doing so good. Trusting yourself is overwhelming and terrifying and scary, because at least if we get answers from other people, we can blame them. I get
that's
that.
what I was hoping. I was like, oh, they'll tell me what to do.
Yeah. But I believe in your greatness.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that you're really profound and amazing at navigating your own life.
Yeah.
And the only reason you've experienced so much trouble up until this point is because you've disconnected from who you are. That's all.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's it.
And so every time you feel like those places you're just making decisions that aren't super great, that should be a signal to all of us. Like, oh, I'm missing who I am here.
I'm not connected.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
need to come back to myself. I need to
Mhm.
come home. I need to come back to my body. I need to connect to my heart, right? Need to connect back to the Lord.
Yeah.
The only time we make decisions that are out of alignment with who we are is when we forget who we are.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who you are, you're definitely not making decisions that are in alignment with who you are.
Mhm.
The good news is you're figuring this out. So you just found out that this isn't a relationship that you should be in. Great. Now you have to get out. That's part of growing and knowing yourself. That's a win. That's a huge win.
And the process it'll take you to get out of that relationship
Yeah.
will start the healing journey
Yes.
of your relationship to yourself.
Yes.
And the healing already starts.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, now I have to heal. No, it's already starting
Yeah. Because you chose you.
because you chose you.
Yeah. Because you said, I'm going to stop violating myself for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. I'm going to let you mute yourself.
Thank you.
And Father, I just pray for Erica right now, Holy Spirit, that you would seal her environment right now, that shame cannot come in and talk to her, that she cannot be overwhelmed. I thank you, Lord. We see overwhelm, and Erica breaks her partnership with overwhelm right now in Jesus' name. And we say, we see you overwhelm. We choose not to partner with you. Go back where you came from.
Yeah.
We just put a block now in Jesus' name, a Holy Spirit block, that she gets to partner in fellowship truth right now in Jesus' name. No shame in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Shame off you. Not shame on you. Shame off you.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
So many questions.
It distracts me. I can't look at it.
I can't look at it. It distracts
I
me.
know, so true.
That's funny. All right, guys, I lost it. Allison, where are we at? Help! Help, Allison! Help.
You guys are awesome. We are at Allie Tremblay. She has a question about understanding what her body's trying to communicate to her.
Oh, great. Come on, girl.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So yeah, Melanie, I was on the call last week and it was really huge for me because I realized I have no relationship with my body, like never talk to my body, like it's just crazy. So I started to put a lot of the things into practice, like what Amanda said about like coming into your body every morning, and it's really good. Confusing, but it was really good. And this past weekend, I saw my my boyfriend for the first time in 2 weeks, and because we're in a long distance relationship. But I felt, and he loves to like show affection, and I felt very like stop, like don't touch me, like just total. And I didn't know. I'm like, am I shutting down? Should I let him like hug me and hold my hand and all these things, or am I listening to my body? And it was just so confusing. And
so good. Yeah. I instantly, one of the things I think of, and it might be different than what Shara thinks of. So one is when my body is resisting something like that, there's a need. Okay. What is the need that's not being met that I'm not willing to compromise? Like I have that with my husband, and I've been with him 28 years. So he might reach in for a hug or something and I feel resistance, or I'm like, I want to draw a line. Whoop, there's something going on here. There's something I haven't addressed with him, or there's a need I have that's not being met, or I feel disrespected, or I feel not seen or not connected in some way, shape, or form. And so what I take that as is a moment like, okay, I need a connection. Now I don't punish him from it. I don't go like, I don't freak out. I used to, poor man. Maybe I'll have him on here sometime and we can talk about all the he's crazy. Anyway, but I would just be like, oh, I'm feeling some resistance here and I don't know what that's about. And so, but he's learned, I've worked with him enough that he knows that resistance doesn't mean he's bad or there's something wrong with him or he did something wrong, but there's something going on inside of me that I need to check in with, and then I'll have something to communicate. So typically it's like, oh yeah, don't come up in here touching me like that when we haven't talked in 3 days.
Yeah.
Or don't come up in here touching me like that when you were an asshole yesterday and you haven't made that right. Or, like all the things that it could be. So I let my body communicate to me in that way, and I pay attention and I go, okay, what's that resistance? What's going on? What do you want to add?
I actually have two things. The first thing that I want to talk about is when you first start developing a relationship with your body, sometimes your body tests you and it says no to see if you're going to listen.
Oh, that's true.
And so in order to build trust with your body, you need to respect and honor the no. So if your body was like, oh, get off me, then, like explain to him like, hey, I'm learning how to have a relationship with my body. And right now it's saying no, and I need to respect that and honor that. And the second thing is, so there are 4 questions that have really helped me in my self-awareness, in my connection with my whole being, right? So I use these questions all the time. You ready? Number 1, what are you feeling? Number 2, why are you feeling that way? Number 3, what do you need? Number 4, how can we get that need met? And I say we because I'm in a relationship with my body, right? So my brain doesn't have all of the, right? It doesn't get to make the decisions unilaterally. My body gets a say in this. And so does my heart, right? Like if I'm on the same team with all parts of myself, we all come together to be like, oh, how can we meet this need? right? So something is clearly going on. So I would just recommend that as you're kind of exploring a relationship with your body, practice these 4 questions. Like, Lord, there was a season where I was doing this every single day just to become more aware of what my body was saying to me and what was going on. Now it's easier because I'm tuned to it. So I'm like, oh, my body's saying something, right? But when you're first beginning, your body will test you to see like, oh, you said you're going to listen to me. Let's see if it's real. And it throws out a no, and you have to decide in that moment. Now, the more relationship I've developed with my body, when my body says no, we actually have conversations. I'm like, hey, I see that you're really tired and you need to sleep, but my heart actually misses community with friends. If I sleep in on a different day, would you be willing to sacrifice sleep tonight so I can spend time with my people? Right? So you start developing relationship, a push of back and forth of like give and take with yourself, which is super brilliant when you actually get into a relationship with another person. Because then you learn that hard answers usually are not hard and fast. They need to be discussed and poked at and questioned and looked at, because there's probably something else going on.
Yeah,
So
that's super helpful.
good.
With like my body testing me, I was like, whoa, that could totally like be true. And I'm picturing myself like literally standing there with him, and my heart just being like, oh my gosh, I want to give you a hug. And my body's like, no, but I just learned how to listen to my heart. So I'm like, what do I do? It's just like a lot. So that is just like, it's so helpful because I've never thought of it as like all being one. And when Melanie was saying like, what does your body need? I could feel immediately like my body needs love from me.
Yes.
Here is something perfect and brilliant. So if your heart's saying you want a hug and your body is saying no, how do you still have intimacy with your boyfriend? You tell him what's going on.
Boom.
And I didn't do that. Of course.
My heart really wants to be affectionate with you, but I'm developing trust with my body and it's saying no, but I need you to know that I really care for you.
It's very vulnerable because it's very awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're letting them in on deeper places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. It's just because of, and he's really safe, but because of past guys who kind of give you that impression that like I can only love you because of physical stuff, then it's hard once you know, like actually like have a relationship with God and find a good guy. It's like that mistrust is almost there. So
yeah.
And it will help if you stop making this about him.
Yeah.
This isn't about him.
Mm-hmm.
This is about you. And if you're not ready to communicate those things verbally, that's okay too. Like you get to decide what you want to do, but this is not about past guys. This is not about this current guy. This is about you. What do you want your life? What do you want your relationships to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want them to look open and vulnerable, that actually looks a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose that.
Yeah.
And only you will know when you're ready to like expose those things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's on your timeline.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the cool thing. Even because of your past relationships, your heart will know. You don't in your mind, I think it's easy because our mind likes to keep us safe, put us on lockdown, right? Don't share because before in the past it was 3 months and we had to, and it's like, chill out. Like if your heart is ready, go ahead and share. You can, again, you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You're not an idiot. None of you are idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I want to say is it's okay that you're learning this now.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know who that's for. Like, it's not too late. You didn't miss it. Like, oh,
No.
I just want to like shut up the voices of, man, you should have knew this 10 years ago, or wish I had known this a while ago. It's not too late, and it's okay that you're learning it now.
Yeah, that's helpful too, because it can be frustrating. Like, wow, I wouldn't have, done this or that if I knew this, but just gratefully I'm learning from you guys now.
Yeah, well, like learning, like, again, we can't miss it, you guys.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the perfect time. You're not going to miss out on some blessing because you didn't know this 10 years ago.
Right.
You actually still get the blessing, but now because you're learning it. Like, it's so weird. He's weirdly good, but we cannot, because we missed something or didn't get a lesson or didn't understand, we can't actually miss the goodness of God. Like it like a phone plan, it rolls over. If I didn't use it last month, I get it this month. Like, the goodness rolls over. It's not like it goes away, or like, oh, well, now you missed it because your year's up, so you don't get vacation. He doesn't work that way.
Years up, you don't get vacation.
I mean, it's just, I'm trying to relate it to things that, like, this is how our brain has been taught to think, right? Because of all these processes, right? Your phone plan, or where you work, right? Our brain's been taught to think these ways. And so then we kind of assign it to God without consciously being aware. Oh, we've kind of decided that, like, God's goodness doesn't roll over to the next month or the next year or the next whatever. But you, like, imagine if for the rest of your life, you knew that you would never miss it. I want to live my life from that place, because the truth is I can't. I'm 37 and really sad that I'm not married, but I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
It's coming and it's going to be amazing. I didn't miss it. I'm sad about some things and I have to grieve that, but I didn't miss anything.
Yes. Maggie wants to adopt you.
Oh.
Allie, how does that feel? Like, did that answer your question? Did that help?
Yeah, that helped a lot. And I feel like I can't really describe like the feeling I have right now, but it's just like really good to make it about me and stop worrying about my relationship and like everybody else. Like, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna fix that right here. And
yes, you're killing codependency when you do that.
Yes.
I literally, I did not start killing codependency until I was 37.
Yeah.
And it literally took somebody to give me a prophetic word in church. I'm at the altar and a lady comes up and says, did I ever tell you this story?
No, you didn't.
A lady comes up and says, the Lord is saying it's time to make it about you. And I was like, that doesn't sound like God at all. That was the beginning of my journey that got me where I am today.
Yeah.
The Lord gave me permission to make it about me. And so I believe it goes back to that thing. As I have, give I thee. I can only give away what I own. I can only give away what I carry. And so if Shara owns something, now I could go through the work, like Allie, if you need something from me that I don't carry, let's say I don't carry compassion, which I do, but let's just say I don't. And I'm like, oh, I can't give you compassion, but I can go to Shara and go, what is it like to be compassionate? And then you can tell me, and I can try to manufacture it, right? And practice it on you. But it's not mine to give away, and you feel the difference. You feel that difference. And so for me, the refiner's fire of my love for people has been to love myself. Yeah. That has been the purifying fire. And I always loved others first. I always put everybody first. And I had tons of judgment against myself. I had tons of hatred against myself. I had tons of against myself. I was my biggest critic, my biggest enemy. One time God told me, this was decades ago, he said, Melanie, you don't need me or the devil. You do both of our jobs really well. And I was like, oh God, that's true. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Okay. So I want to share something the Lord shared with me one time about all of this, right? The sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross would have meant nothing if he didn't know who he was. The only reason that Jesus' sacrifice meant something is because he knew he was the Son of God and he chose to lay that down. So the truth is, we cannot actually sacrifice something that we don't own. Yes. So if we're out here sacrificing our lives for people, but we don't actually know what we're giving, the sacrifice means nothing.
Yes. That is so good.
Thanks, I know. I love it so much. So good. So when he showed me that, I was like, oh, I have to know what I'm about to lay on the table and sacrifice for it to actually mean what it's supposed to mean. Because if I'm just out there giving out my life, I actually don't know the value of what I'm sacrificing. Mm-hmm. And the only way we know the value is when we begin to give ourselves worth.
Yes. Yes.
And he has no problem. The Lord has no problem sharing his glory. He is not scared.
Nope.
I promise you guys, he is not scared.
Nope. He's got a lot of it. Lots to go around.
He does.
Oh, he's so fun.
I love him so much.
This is great. I love Jesus so much. Okay. Did we answer your question?
I need a journal for like an hour after this. Yeah. Seriously, I'd like thank you guys so much. This is really cool. I can understand and like give all that after just hearing a little bit.
I feel like we need a part 2 just to minus Shiraz's session. This is like part 2 to part 2.
I know.
I'm telling you, we should have a podcast.
It's real.
I think
I almost bought a mic last week.
I have a mic. Hannah has a mic. I bought her one.
Oh,
so
steal Hannah's mic.
Hannah's not using it. Oh, I just muted us.
Oh, oops.
All right, Allie, I'm going to mute you now. All right. Next question, Allison.
Madeline.
Madeline.
What,
oh, yeah.
What?
I actually marked down your question. It was a good one. You had an online dating question, right?
Look at your hair.
So cute.
Oh, I've been blessing it. And literally every single day, like, I've been getting crazy compliments from different people.
Yeah. That happens
It
when you
does.
start loving yourself.
It's weird.
And like last week, we talked about writing love on the parts you don't love. Mm-hmm. So many testimonies of people getting compliments over the parts that they love. Mm-hmm. They wrote love over. It's amazing.
Because they're not hiding anymore.
Yeah, so
It's
good.
crazy. Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, okay. So I have been I've been like a girl that hasn't wanted to like date at all, and because I put like all my eggs in a basket and I'm like, he has to be the one. Yeah. But to be like truthfully honest, I'm going on a date this Saturday with a guy, and I like, even when the word like husband or boyfriend or date comes up, like everything in my body is like trauma. Like my gut hurts, my hands are like numb, and it terrifies me.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my experience about growing up in the South, where we believed in courtship culture.
That's where I'm from. I'm from the South, so.
Yeah, girl, I get you. We need to lower the stakes a little bit. You can't make a mistake. Like, if you were to go out and date this man and get married to him and have 3 kids and divorce him, it would still be okay. Mm-hmm. And so I think what courtship culture forgot was that this is about winning hearts. And winning hearts is kind of a process, and it's an adventure, and it takes time. And it also takes getting to know ourselves. And there are You guys, as much as the church would like to not believe this, there are things we cannot get to know about ourselves unless we are in a relationship with a man. Just can't, because it touches on things. So for instance, like I have a friendship with Mel's husband, Ken.
Yeah, he loves her. He calls her chorizo.
Chorizo. I was like, am I a spicy Italian or a spicy Mexican meat? And he was like,
Yeah, you're like, I'm a piece of meat. He goes, no, you're a spicy piece of meat.
yeah. Right. So like, it's super fun and it's super great. And he touches on things in my heart that I don't get from my relationship with my girls. Right. But because of the boundary I have with him, because he's Mel's husband, there are places that he will never touch in my heart.
Right. But he compliments her physically, like,
yeah, totally.
on her dress and like, yeah.
So what we need to learn is, because of the boundaries we set up with the other men in our lives, there are places in our hearts that they will never touch because we're not in a romantic relationship with them. So we need to give ourselves permission to be in a romantic relationship, to explore those places. And here's the really, really weird and scary thing about that. Sometimes the only way to find a line is by crossing it. When the Lord told me that, I was like, this is not the Lord. This is the devil. Right? But the Lord was like, hey, do you not trust that I'm big enough?
I think a lot of women gasped.
Well,
I do.
I'm still gasping.
Or their
He
breath
told me
took
that.
away. Like,
Yeah.
I think Shannon, I saw Shannon gasp, I think. Yeah,
girl.
she did. She gasped.
I get it. But what this proves, what it will demonstrate in our lives, is a trust in the Lord that he's big enough to cover that, and a trust in ourselves to clean up whatever mistake or mess we make, right? Because the truth is, it's not actually about not crossing the line. It's about learning what our lines are and how to clean up the messes we make.
Yes.
So it's not actually about whether or not he's your husband. It's actually about, can you enter into your relationship with this man where you can benefit each other and get to grow and know yourself?
Trying to call. I mean, sorry.
They want in too.
Yeah.
So when you go in on this date, the first question you need to ask your heart is, are you willing to explore what a relationship would look like? Eventually, right, about 100 questions down the road, will be like, oh, do I want to explore this for the rest of my life with you? But we're not there yet. And I would say courtship put that question first, which was inappropriate and out of line.
Somebody said, repeat that again, which was what you said when the phone rang. Do you remember what that was?
Oh, so sorry. Nope.
Yep. And then this is not, but the recording will tell you.
Yeah.
And then someone said, this really is not just about sexuality. I caught myself thinking that, but more than other things, finding the line is that.
Right. Well, because we're whole people, right? Our brain is saying, keep us safe, right? Our hearts are like, I want romance. And our bodies are like, shit, what's going on? Right? Because we got like hormones, and then we're turned on. It's like, oh my God, I was told that was bad. And like, right? We've got all this stuff that we're trying to figure out because of all these mindsets about what's good and what's bad. Let's stop right there. Stop thinking in terms of good and bad.
Yes. I've talked to them about, is it life or is it death?
Yes. Is it making you come alive? Is it causing you to know yourself better? Is it causing you to know the Lord better and push you into him? If it is, it's a good yes. But the moment we slip into right and wrong, you guys, it's just a mess. It really is just a mess.
Yeah, because then you become more protective.
Right. It's about law. It's about like, oh, if I'm wrong, that's it. Like, that's it. It's over. But think about this. Like, for instance, like you're a person, right? Let's say you have some poison, a little bit, okay? You're not going to die because the living organisms in your body is going to attack the poison and expel it, and like you're going to puke or poop or whatever, right? It's coming out, right? So the cool thing about choosing life is once you choose it enough, if you have a choice that invites death in, it's not going to hang around that long, because it just can't survive in a culture that's living and thriving. And so that's why I think mistakes aren't as big as what everyone else thinks they are.
And in an ecosystem, like you shared
Yes.
earlier, dead
Yes.
things become fertilizer for
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah.
Dead things become fertilizer for growth, guys.
So this is why our faith is so profound, because we literally cannot lose, period. You can't. And once we get that through our heads, life is so much easier to live, because it's more about tuning into how God made us and living that life.
Maggie said, this is so hard. I've lived my whole life black and white with
I know,
wrong
same,
and right, good and bad.
same,
Yeah.
same. Like, my personality across the board loves structure. I'm very much a structured thinker. So wrong and right was like, girl, okay, this is how bad it was. I believed that you should not buy a Venus razor because it was named after a goddess. So you want to talk about the religious queen? I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I destroyed lives. I did.
Destroyer of lives.
I
Sure
was. I was. And I'm here to tell you it's not the way. I like to thank you for the laughy faces. That means a lot. It's very real. Were we answering someone's question?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, Madeline.
I'm so sorry. I'm excited about the Lord. I was like, this is the way.
So thoughts, Madeline?
Yeah. Any follow-up questions?
Let's like wrangle this in a little bit.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
No, I like it. I like it. I think it gives me permission to like be wild a little bit. Like, yeah. Because I'm noticing, like throughout this program, I'm becoming more wild, and and even like even the guys that I'm like choosing, I'm like, oh, you're a little wild. But it says you're a Christian online, so. But yeah, it helps to rehear like, don't choose like right or wrong, and just like go and do it, and
life or death.
yeah, it's really
Yeah, and I would say that because you will connect to your heart, so people won't recognize you as a Christian, because most Christians don't know how to live connected to how God made them. And it's really wild, because it's outside the context that we are supposed to live as Christians. And so your life will look wild.
Yeah, and it does already.
Yeah.
Especially in the South.
Yeah.
Good. I
get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
It takes pressure off for the day. So
Removing high stakes, huge. Every place you can remove the high stakes is so important.
Yeah.
If that's your dating life, get rid of your timeline. Like, timelines need to go. God is inside and outside of time, so he can work it out.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to answer a masturbation question?
Oh, those are my favorite.
Yeah. Here we go. Right here.
Okay. If you're really sexual, turn it on every day. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, my number one question is, so usually, so number one, there is such a thing as high sexuality in women, right? That's a crazy thing to kind of deal with. But one of the things that I have found that actually works is when you have a high need for masturbation, it's probably because you don't have intimacy with other people. And so your need is to be known and seen, but it's coming out, the way it's coming out in your body is like needing to have an orgasm. So I'm not saying that it will completely take away the desire, because I don't think that's how we're meant to operate. But I do think that it will lessen some of the intensity if you learn how to expose yourself emotionally to your community.
Does that help, Carly? Does that answer it for you?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that I'm getting a lot of my intimacies met already with myself and with God. And I'm exploring more into like my community and my people around me. So it doesn't feel like that's it.
Great. So next time you're masturbating, you ready for this?
I don't know.
Okay. So next time this happens, there are two things that you can do. You can practice. The first one is invite the Lord in. Mm-hmm. I did that one time. It's crazy. Crazy good. The second thing is, before you engage in masturbating, take a moment and tune into your heart and ask yourself what you need. Because sometimes I think like, okay, for instance, like my family emotionally eats. So the tool that I have been taught to help meet some of my needs is to eat. So whenever I'm emotional about anything, I just eat because that's the tool, right, that I had. So part of me is like, oh, is this just a tool that you have that you need to maybe actually branch out and get tools, right? But if you don't know what the need is, you don't know how to equip your tool belt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And like, I've been on this crazy process with masturbation already. So I've done a lot of those things. And this time it just feels different because I didn't like masturbate because I was getting all my needs met for months. Mm-hmm. And then this time it just feels like there's a sexual awakening inside of me. Like I feel so connected to my femininity. Sure. And I feel like it's maybe a pendulum swing, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so here's my... Are you thinking about men when you masturbate?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is masturbation, okay? Self-pleasure is when you're getting to know your body. So we cross that line when we involve the imagination of somebody else to get ourselves off, which means there is a need happening in your heart that is not being met. Because you have to imagine something in order to get off. But I have also experienced, like when I explored my sexuality, right, coming from like the South and courtship culture and all sex is bad. When I began to explore that, I actually learned there is such a thing as self-pleasuring, in which you figure out how your body works and operates, but it doesn't have anything to do with the imagination of or involvement of other people. It's actually between myself and my body. Mm-hmm. And so I would say if you continue to masturbate with imagination of like other people, to me, that is a number one key that there is a need that you haven't met.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's really good to know the difference between the two. Yeah. And it's also really freeing too, because it's like I feel permission to like explore my body just as it is, you know, without the imagination.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say too, the part of the struggle with the church is that because they're unwilling to talk about any of this, I don't even know that the church is really familiar with the difference between the two. Yeah. Because they like clump it all and like, oh, you're not with your husband, so it's all bad. And I'm like, right. But like, okay, do you guys know that like kids masturbate? Do you guys know this? This is like a thing. Mm-hmm. Like kids masturbate, mm-hmm. right? So I'm like, oh, they're not imagining about like big boobs or hard muscles. They're kids. They don't even know what that is, right? Mm-hmm. It's actually something about our body. We are sexual in nature. Yeah. And that's not wrong or bad. It becomes masturbation when we have to imagine somebody else with us to get off. It's like, that's when exploration stops. It's exploration and getting to know ourselves when we're like, how do I know what brings me pleasure? Well, you can't know that unless you figure it out, or you have sex with someone, which I'm somewhat like, I'm saving myself for marriage. So like, if that's the path that you're on, then how are you gonna figure that out? Right? Like, and I also think you guys can come up with your own things. This is for me. For me, it is important to know how my body is gonna respond when a man touches me. Like, that's important for me to know. So I'm not scared shitless, right? When he tries to show sexual affection. That's important for me. That was important for my heart. Not everyone feels the same way or has the same journey, but that was important to me.
Yeah.
And I had permission from the Lord to figure that out.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Really good.
that's really scary. Thank you for being brave and asking that question.
Yeah.
I love that you asked that because nobody in the church is talking about it. So I really, really appreciate and value that you did ask.
Yeah, and thank you for your responses. It always feels so safe to bring anything here.
Oh,
That's so
I
great.
love that.
They did. Yeah, I love it. I love this group. I love it. It is 7:15. Megan said, Shara, what you said about it being okay if you got married, had 3 kids, and got divorced. Wow, felt so much freedom and weight lifted. I felt so scared of that happening down the road.
Yeah, girl, be free. Like because here's the truth. That's not in your heart, right?
Right.
That's not your goal.
It's not the plan.
That's nobody's goal, right? But again, if you think in terms of the world is so pervasive in their own ideas that we also have to become pervasive with our own, right? That means when you get in your marriage, you can't just like, oh, I'm married now, right? You're going to have to be pervasive about how you're going to fight, not fight, because I don't, like, it's not a striving, but like, how are you going to maintain connection with your spouse so that you don't end up there, right? Because I think people end up there because they just kind of let life take over and the world take over and they just go about their lives and they're not being
Intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going with the flow.
Yeah, be free.
Well, girls, I'm sorry we did not get to all of your questions. Allison, how many more questions were left?
We had about 3-ish. So I told them to come back next week.
Do you want to answer those 3 questions real quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
Like,
oh yeah,
spitfire.
I love answering questions.
I know. Allison, we're gonna do a spitfire, like throwing thoughts out there. We won't bring anybody on and like process it out. But why don't you tell us the next question?
Okay, Megan had a question about her spleen. She had issues with her spleen, and there was something else she might have to tell us, and she was wondering what that could mean.
I actually saw the question.
Oh, you did?
And my answer is go to the doctor. Like when you're in a place where you're experiencing pain like that, you don't have the knowledge to be able to diagnose yourself. You have to go to the doctor. You guys, when I was seeing the nutritional therapist, I had so many blood tests done. I went to so many doctors because we were trying to figure out a ton of stuff out, and it helped me narrow down, right? So the thing about being in touch with your body is you have to have a team of people. I have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, a nutritional therapist,
body worker.
Like I have so many people on my team of body people that I go to because they're experts in the body. I can listen to my body, and if it's in pain, I go to the doctor. Now, depending on the pain, I'm like chiropractor, physical therapist, like, I'm having problems with digestion. I need to see my nutritional therapist again, right? So like, you are not your only source. You just get to learn how to manage yourself well. Okay, that's my spitfire.
Did that help, Megan?
I hope to help.
Great. Awesome. Okay, what's the next question, Allison?
Okay, Sarah had a question on struggling with depression. Not sure why food isn't fixing it, or she feels like she could sleep forever.
Okay.
Oh, but I have a question.
Sarah, can you come on so we can ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, percentage-wise, can you tell me how much of your life is lived from obligation?
Obligation, can you give me an example?
Yeah, you don't do it because you love it or because you want to. You do it because you feel like it's what's expected.
Or you have
to. You have to.
Yeah, I would say the majority of my life, it's obligation, yeah.
Okay, so you need to lower that percentage. Yeah, you need to stop living from obligation and start living from a place of like overflow and what you want to do. Now, as you begin, sorry, I'm spitfiring, so I'm talking really fast. But this is how you're going to do this. You pick the first 3 things that come to mind that you absolutely don't like doing, and you either renegotiate their end dates or you stop doing them. You get out of them, hold that space. The first time something comes along and you're excited and you want to do it, I don't want you to do it. I actually want you to hold that space. And as you hold that space, the right thing for that space is going to come along, and you will know it when it does come along. Do you understand the homework?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm thinking like just really generic. So I want to do the dishes because they look nasty and horrible and need to be done. But so are you saying like instead of jumping on top of that, like holding out and telling myself I don't have to do that?
Tell me if this is right. I'm thinking like when I had 5 things that I was obligated to. I had 5 different jobs.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
When I had that season of 5 different jobs, I wasn't happy and I cut out 3 of them.
Yeah.
Is that more what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yes, that's what I mean. So the reason you're having the problem with the dishes is because a lot of other things that you're doing in your life, you feel like you have to. And so the very thing that you have to do, you don't want to do because you can control that.
Right.
Does that make sense? So if you will cut out the things in your life that you're doing, whether it's serving or if you need to change jobs, if you need to change relationships, whatever those things look like, you need to get out of that and then start filling your life with things that you love. And then dishes won't be so hard because the rest of your life is exciting and makes your heart come alive.
Okay.
And that's what I want to say. I am in school right now to become a marriage and family therapist. So this is usually where I start because there's a difference between chemical depression and emotional depression. And if it's emotional, this will help.
Yeah. And if it's chemical, you should go to a doctor.
Yes, please go to a doctor.
It drives me crazy when I go on Facebook and I see people, somebody will go on like this happened, I don't know, a while ago. Nobody in this group, it was totally a friend from high school, and she says, man, this depression thing is really real. And I look at the comments underneath this, and everyone is telling her, worship more, put on praise music, pray more, read the Bible more. And I went on there and I said, have you gone to the doctor? Have you done that at all? And she said, nope. And I said, well, you actually could have a vitamin deficiency. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Just having a low vitamin C can make you depressed.
Yeah.
Or vitamin D, not C. And so like, that's what I had when I had depression, went to the doctor. They said, oh, you are very deficient in vitamin D. Within a week, I was myself again.
Yeah.
Ain't no praying and worshiping going to help that unless Jesus healed me. Right. But I'm not going to worship that away.
Right.
I'm not going to worship that away.
This is what it means to value your body
Yeah.
and have a good relationship with it. Take care of your body.
Yeah. And God wants us to do that. He doesn't like, he's not a bellhop that's just going to like, ding, ding. Okay, make that depression go away.
Right.
Okay, ding, ding. He's like, it's your body. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, be powerful.
It's your body. What are you going to do about it? I'm like, shoot, I'm going to go to the doctor. Like, doctors aren't bad.
Yeah, no.
Yes, we all want him to heal us in an instant and it all be better.
Of course.
But there is a process that God likes us to be on. And here's why. If tomorrow he poofed you with the body of your dreams,
right,
it would be pointless because you don't know what it takes to get that. Therefore, you don't know what it takes to maintain it.
Yeah.
And so this is why God goes on a process with us, because he wants us to see what it takes to get there so that we know what it takes to maintain it.
Yeah, girl.
This gets me fiery. I get so yes. I love you guys. This is awesome. Last question, Allison.
Okay. Megan had another question. How do you know if you really like someone? What do you look for in a husband? What do you know what to look for?
Well, he has to have beefy muscles and treat me like crap and be really reliant on me like a mom. And
so I would say being on this process, a little different of a place than Melanie is currently at. She married a beefcake.
I do have a very handsome husband.
So one of the things I'm learning, again, because you've heard a little bit of my background of the culture that I grew up in, the more connected I get to myself, the more I realize I want my heart to be one.
One over, like one, like that.
Yes. And you know what? Yes, I want to be attracted to him physically, but I got to tell you, ladies, if someone's winning my heart, the physical, it doesn't mean as much. I don't think it means I'm going to marry some ugly ass dude, but my qualifications for what is physically attractive drastically changes when they're winning my heart. And the only way you know if your heart is being won is if you get to know your own heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's the basics, like having standards, what to look for in a husband. Like
my number one thing, I'm not going to lie, does he have friends?
Yes.
If he does not have friends, it's an automatic no.
Right. If he doesn't have friends, is he shut down?
Yeah.
If he shuts down, like if that's his defense.
Yeah. If he hates his body, can't do it.
No.
Even, let me tell you, legit, because I worked at a gym. If you go to a gym every day and you still hate your body, no. I'd rather marry and spend the rest of my life with a chubby man who loved himself than a fit guy who had to demand from his body.
It's annoying. If he constantly looks in the mirror, no. If he has to look in the mirror all the time to make sure it's okay, no.
But here's the truth. These things came because we got connected to our hearts and our bodies, right? And our spirits. Your qualifications will also come because you will see what's important to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you guys, you will figure that out. I promise.
Yeah. I almost divorced my husband because there were things that needs that I had that weren't getting met. As him and I grew and we came into this process that you guys are learning, I came into it first and then he came up later, but I had needs that were like, oh, I need a man who's going to take ownership. Yeah. Like he was hiding and he was running. I was like, I can't do this. And so we had to fight that out a little bit. And yeah, it was fight. You know.
Yeah, I do.
She knows.
But I think what's really interesting here that I think is important to note is she didn't just up and leave him. No. She was like, hey, I'm going through this and this is actually what I need, right? So she expressed it as a vulnerable need, which we talked about that in the boundaries thing that we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But she expressed hey, I actually need this from someone. Is this something that you're willing to do? Right. And it took him some time, right? Because as you all know, all of you know this, vulnerability is scary.
It's so scary.
And so it takes time for people to get used to the idea and then figure out how to do that. Right.
Yeah. And so he decided he could, and we have a great relationship right now. So things are awesome. Yeah. All right, ladies, that's it. I am so excited we got to do this. This was so fun. I love it when I get to do this with Shara.
So your cute little faces.
Aren't they cute?
They are.
Yeah. Look at that. Deanna or Dina. Is that, how do you say it? Dina? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
It's Danae.
Danae! Yes. I was watching you all night. I was
really? Yeah.
Oh, you're so cute.
Expressions are crazy. I'm like,
I was like, yeah. And then Lindsay and your cat. There were several times I wish I had the ability to do a screenshot because the cat is so freaking cute.
Oh, you guys, you're just so cute.
Baby, this is Taco. Say goodnight, bud.
Taco. Oh, he's so cute.
I just want to eat him up.
And then Olivia, look at her. She's so cute.
I know, you guys.
Emma, I have to just say all of you because I take turns looking at all of you. You're just gorgeous. Amazing women.
And I love some of you think that we're lying.
No, we're not.
I just laugh because the funny part is I don't lie.
So. She doesn't. No. Okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to let you guys hang out.